Hello, YouTube. This is Insane Monster, and this is part 3 of What If Deku Was an Eliatrope. When we last left off, it was after the whole villains versus heroes test. So, with that said, before we start, hit it. Now then, we see that as Izuku is going to school, the press are there harassing people. So instead of going through that mess, he makes a portal opening up into his classroom to hop through it, surprising people a little bit as they remark, "Ugh, I'm jealous that I don't have your power to just skip over those reporters." As then Aizawa comes in telling them to sit down. They do, as he remarks that they need to choose a class rep. They're all pretty excited about it and end up doing the voting thing. Like in canon, Izuku ends up becoming the class rep as Momo still becomes the vice rep. Afterwards, we go back to them at lunch as they begin to eat. As Ida looks at him, stating, "Well, now that you're the class rep, you need to be very presentable to represent our class. Perhaps you should lose the hat," as he grabs his hat, saying, "No way." With his classmates getting a little curious about that. Even Mina a little too much, sneaking behind him trying to remove the hat. Luckily, his hands are already on it, and he's making sure it's not leaving his head. At Momo asks Mina if she could stop. Momo has a worried look on her face as Mina can tell, asking, "Oh, so let me guess, you know what's underneath there, huh? What, is it some kind of massive, untamable bedhead, horns? What is it?" As Momo gets nervous and looks away, with the classmates thinking she does know what's under there. As Bakugo then sits up, stating, "Look, if he doesn't want to show you, he won't. I haven't even seen it, and I've known him the longest." As the question was asked about how long, Bakugo does state it was since kindergarten, he thinks, as he scratches his head. Which then we hear Uraraka state, "Wait, so you haven't seen him without that thing on his head since kindergarten?" As Bakugo says, "Yeah, pretty much. Him and his dad, they both wear it on their heads." As then they keep talking, as whenever it's revealed that Izuku's dad is actually a hero, which they do remember the hero that his dad is, as Ida also chimes in, stating his family is full of heroes as well. Which, at the time, we see, well, we switch over to the media, who end up trying to go in and are blocked. But there is a man on the other side of the street watching. As they continue eating their lunch, we hear the alarm go off as everyone's running. An upperclassman tells them that there's an intruder on the grounds, which they end up following, trying to get out, but it's a total mess. Eventually getting pushed up against the window Momo sees what's going on, telling Izuku that it's the media. As he's annoyed by this, he makes a portal above him, jumping through it, exiting sideways right in front of the exit sign above the door, telling them to stop while holding himself up with his hands placed on the wall, telling them that it's the media and that they need to calm down, that they're UA students and they should act better and more calm in this kind of situation. Everyone does calm down, as when they do, he lets himself fall back through the portal, dropping. After that, we get to where the police come and take away the reporters, and his classmates remark that he handled that pretty well. Though it was kind of odd to see half of his body facing vertical while the other one was facing horizontal, like that. He just shrugs his shoulders, stating, well, I mean, that's portals. Afterwards, as they leave, he walks Momo home as Momo thinks, stating to him that it's odd how the media was able to get through the gate like that. UA's measures are supposed to be a lot better. As he also says that I'm worried that there might be someone who let them in. Deku just says it's possible, but not sure what purpose that would serve, other than just making a nuisance out of those reporters, and they already were. Afterwards, we fast forward over to where they get suited up. Izuku gets himself suited up and such in the locker room as the guys still are staring at Izuku's head, wondering what's under that damn hat. As Mineta tries to sneak and grab the hat off of his head, he is quickly met with a energy blade pointing at his face. Bakugo stating, seriously don't think I tried doing that countless times? He has a weird sixth sense that tells him when people are sneaking up on him. This is actually his ability to sense Raku, or what could be considered life energy. By doing so, he is ultimately able to, let's say, simply put, he could just see like 360 degrees around him. Yeah. So comes in pretty useful, and can even see a good distance away from him without using his actual eyes. Once they get dressed and onto the bus, they just sit as they begin to talk about their powers and such, remarking that Izuku's power seems very versatile, from asking what else it can do. Thinking on the fly, he states, well, I can also amp up my body with energy to uh, make it a lot stronger, but if I push it too far, it could end up destroying my body. So I gotta make sure I limit myself. Which is true, as he also remarks that recently he's been working and getting it more powerful, as it's also ended up causing some slight burns if he pushes out too much power at once. So his classmates see some drawbacks, but still pretty useful. Afterwards, they head over to the USJ where they meet 13. All Might's still injured in this what if, so he still overdoes it and has to wait. After introductions and stuff are made, the League of Villain pops in using their warp villain. Kurogiri letting in a ton of low rank villains and Shigaraki and Nomu, as they state that they need to get out of there, as Aizawa jumps into the fight, taking out the low-ranked villains one after another. When they try to leave, Kurogiri is in their way, which then we see Izuku grab Ida, stating that he needs to get to the school right now to get backup. As Ida states, "Wait, what are you talking about?" As Izuku then smirks with a little bit of a sweat drop, stating, "Sorry about this," opening a portal next to him, tossing him through, all the way to UA. Afterwards, we see Ida looking around and quite quickly going to vomit. Closing the portal, Kurogiri states, "Another warp work, huh? How annoying." As then he uses his power to split them up. Since the ones Ida grabbed didn't get grabbed by Ida before he was able to leave, they ended up in the same area as Ojiro, who was alone. So yeah, they're in the fire area. As then we see Kurogiri leave, returning to Shigaraki, stating that there's another warp quirk user here, and he's most likely sent a classmate over to UA. They need to hurry. Shigaraki states it doesn't matter. We can still send our message by slaughtering these kids. Izuku ended up getting warped as well, figuring he could probably just warp back or portal back if it wasn't really a good place to be in, like their lair or something. Though he ended up in the same position he did as in canon. But unlike this time, he uses his portals in rapid succession to fly, soaring directly to the boat, soon being followed by Sue and Mineta. As they get to the boat, they notice that they're surrounded as they try to think. This does get them to where they go to the same plan as in canon, but a bit different. Instead of punching, Izuku states that he can slam a number of his portals together that will cause like a ray blast kind of thing. Makes it big enough and powerful enough it will have the effect he's looking for. So he does that using his portals to pseudo fly, going right up into the air above the water, blasting a giant portal ray with, let's say, about 4 portals straight into the water, causing the same thing to happen as in canon, with Mineta and Sue leaping away and Mineta throwing his great balls off of his head into the water, with all the villains being captured. He joined them back into the water, going to the shore. Once they get to the shore, they see Aizawa fighting and having trouble, as well as see what what Shigaraki is doing to his elbow. They were able to get there a bit sooner than canon, as Deku tells them to go now, and that he'll help Aizawa. To protest to this, as he states that he is faster than them and can make blades and such to protect himself. They can't. Not to mention he can make portals. So begrudgingly they hurry up, going towards the edge, the other side of the little shore to get there, giving Izuku a chance to portal fly his way over to Aizawa, getting in between him and and Shigaraki. Though, unfortunately, this is where the Nomu comes. He increases the size of the shield, though it does the force of the Nomu's hit blows him back along with Aizawa caught in the shield as they're pinned against the wall. Izuku is then protecting him and Aizawa from repeated blows from the Nomu. If it wasn't for One for All juicing up his energy shield, it would have broke by now. But the more it hits it, the more he feels that he's losing control of it. Which is when mind goes blank for a moment. And when he opens his eyes, he sees something. Flow of energy around him. This stressful situation is heightening his awareness of the energy in him as well as around. He looks at his chest, sees something. 8 orbs. If you remember correctly about something in particular about what Deku has that would be referred to 8, then you know what this is. This is when markings begin to glow and brighter on him, not just encasing his hands and up to his elbows or his feet up to his knees, but continuing to encase him more and more and more till he's completely covered, glowing his body completely bright. As he yells, the shield pushes back on the Nomu, sending it away from them, as the force also sends his hat flying, his wings on his head larger than before. We then see orbs coming out of his back, 8 of them, hovering in a circle behind him, then rapidly spinning faster and faster until you only see some kind of spinning ring. And in the blink of an eye, we see that the Nomu's arms, as well as its legs below its knees, are gone. Right behind the Nomu, who's falling, is Izuku in his energized, let's say, call this energized state. If you have a better name for it, tell me in the comments. But either way, he's holding an energy scythe. As he then states in a kind of echoey voice, enough. So the Nomu then begins to regenerate, getting back on its feet to attack him. In this state, he's still lucid enough to realize that blades aren't gonna work on this thing since it can regenerate, and his hits aren't doing much either. Blasts it a couple of times, but he's still having some trouble. The blasts are able to send it back quite a bit and scorch him up. Though he figures his only way to kill this thing is get to its brain. But that before he could, All Might burst through the doors, entering as he looks to see the Nomu and Izuku's current form. All Might burst through, beating the villains as well as seeing Aizawa's injured state. Goes to him, picking him up as he sees Asui and Mineta heading towards the steps. Hands them over to them. As All Might then tells Izuku that you should go help your classmates. This thing is mine. Izuku states this thing can regenerate and it has shock absorption. Its speed and strength are insane. About perhaps the same level as yours. Be careful. As he flies up, sensing the energy, feels the panic coming from Jiro and Momo, as well as Denki's, let's say, dummified state, as well as him being captured and held hostage. Gripping his fist, in a blink, he flies towards them, punching the villain right in his gut, sending him flying to the rock wall nearby. Momo, Jiro, and Denki see this. Questionable if Denki will remember this in his state, but still, they see Izuku's form. Surprising, very surprising to them. As then he flies over to help the others take care of the villains. Doing his best, though, stopping whenever he sees that All Might is captured like in canon. Glitching straight towards them again, cutting off the Nomu's arms, releasing him. All Might is a bit more injured here due to the fact that, let's say that the students were a little bit more busy trying to get around taking out villains and such. So he lost a good bit more blood and was being gripped a little bit more. So he's having trouble. As he begins the fight with the Nomu, he does he is able to get it up into the air, but he stops for a moment, feeling that One for All is about to run out, and if he throws another punch, he's gonna shrink down. Which is when Deku appears in front of the Nomu in mid-air, then creates 10 portals layered on one another, yelling, Plus Ultra, slamming them together, sending a powerful blast that sends the Nomu basically rocketing away. This was a lot of power that he just blasted. As he then goes to the ground, holding onto this form he just figured out as best he could. Kurogiri is able to convince Shigaraki that they should get out of here. Not only because Nomu's gone, All Might standing there, off as he is, but this kid is having some weird energy quirk capable of sending Nomu flying, although be it he was already in midair. Still though, Shigaraki begrudgingly accepts as they use the warp gate to get out of there before the heroes come. Though, about a few seconds later, as the villains were beginning to get up, the heroes came and took out the villains who were starting to get up. Like in canon, Cementos does help block All Might, though unlike in canon, Izuku can't hold that form anymore and just drops. He is told that he's going to be okay as he blacks out from using that much power all at once and not being able to properly handle it, considering he's never done that before. Cementos told the other classmates to go and that they'll take care of their friend. Afterwards, on the bus, as Izuku is taking to Recovery Girl's nursing, nursing office and such, Momo sees Izuku's hat on the ground, grabbing it to bring it back. While on the bus, they do talk about what exactly was under his hat, stating that it was a glowing pair of wings, and that they never figured that that would be what was hidden. Looking at Momo having Izuku's hat, Asui asked if Momo knew about this. Momo stated, yeah, I did. Apparently it's something of a personal nature for him and his dad. I'm not sure why exactly, it just is. So I'll have to give him this as soon as possible. As then Bakugo states, not before I get to see it. As Todoroki states, really? Is it really that interesting? Hiro chimes in stating, yeah, it was really cool, especially when he was all glowing. Bakugo just looks at Jiro stating, the hell are you talking about? As Kaminari, who was able to see this at the last moment before he just kind of poofed, he states, yeah, his whole body was glowing. Bakugo states that he's seen his hands and eyes glow, but not his whole body. As then Ida chimed in, looking a little green or pale in this situation, considering he already, as we have Ochako asking if Ida's okay. Ida looks at her, stating, yeah, I just do not go through those portals he makes. Oh god. As he explains that when he went through Izuku's portal, he got sick and threw up. Bakugo states that, well, I could have told you that. Apparently, if you're not him and you go through those portals, you get nauseous and throw up. Which kind of uneased people a little bit, thinking that that's that sounds terrible. Once the class gets back to UA, they go to the nurse's office to go meet Izuku, as he's passed out sleeping comfortably, as they see the wings on his head. Aneta says, whoa, that's kinda cool. Going to touch them, but his hand is swatted away by Momo, stating, I was told that these things were of a personal nature to him, so I don't think it's right for people to be touching them. As she tries her best to slip the hat back on. Bakugo states, you're dating him, aren't you? Momo blushes a little bit as the girls swarm her, asking how it happened. She states it was kind of a date set up by their dads. Apparently, a while back, Izuku's dad saved her dad, and then they ended up becoming drinking buddies. As some of, as some of the classmates just started laughing. After he woke up and went to his classmates were looking at him, as he then realized that he didn't black out with his hat on, covering his eyes with his hat, saying, oh man. His classmates said, it's fine. We saw it, but we're not going to ask you about it, since Momo already told us that it's some kind of personal thing. As he sighs, saying thanks. After that, we see in the League of Villains hideout as Shigaraki explains the problem they have with losing Nomu. Luckily, well, for them at least, we have Kurogiri, who took a stop at the surveillance area of the USJ, taking the tape that he needed to show their master while destroying everything else. We get to the part where he shows Izuku's form and what he did. Although he's pretty fast in it, that being even further by the power of One for All, his body isn't quite ready to handle the entirety of its physical strength boost. So by the time he passed out and got the recovery girl, he had some slight burns all across his body, fixed well enough with recovery girl's quirk. As we hear all for one stating that this is quite interesting as well as problematic, stating that they'll just have to try something else next time. And this is where we get to the next day. They're being told about their time off that they'll be having due to the fact that the police are going to need to investigate UA just to be safe due to this attack. Afterwards, we get back to class and we see Aizawa bandaged up arm, but not as bad as in canon, so no sling, as he states that they need to prepare for the UA Sports Festival. So yeah, everyone's getting excited about that and pumped, as he states that they have, I want to say maybe a week or two for them to train and such to get ready for it. And this is where we'll be ending it for this part of the What If. Do hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Please remember to hit that notification bell so that you are aware of what and when a video is uploaded. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Please remember to say subscribe so that you are aware when the next vid is. With all that said, see you later.